6 teams have 100% records going into match week 3 in the Champions League. Qarabağ, the surprise club so far. There are some big fixtures once again this week as well. Real Madrid play Juventus, Arsenal playing Atletico Madrid. Will someone's O go? Let's find out. But before we do, can I ask you to drop a like on this video if you haven't done so already? Welcome to the Footy Social Club. If you are new around here, we are a predominantly Premier League channel. However, we do cover the Champions League as well. Make sure you're subscribing. You are very, very welcome here. And get all of your predictions and thoughts down in the comments. Let's get into it. And up first, it's Arsenal versus Atletico Madrid. 2 from 2 for Arsenal in the Champions League. They are one of the clubs with a 100% record. Currently 5th in the table. Remember, you only need to make top 8 to avoid tricky fixtures in the next round of the Champions League. Atletico Madrid, they've played 2, won 1, lost 1. Currently sitting 10th. They have a good record against Arsenal as well. Drawn 1, won 1 against the Gunners. This, though, could be a little different. The last time Madrid were in England, they lost very, very late at Anfield. Arsenal, the strong favourites, a 59% chance for the Gunners to win at the Emirates. Will Mikel Arteta rotate slightly his team in order to keep them fresh? They've got a hell of a deep squad going into this season's competition as well. If you fancy Atletico Madrid, 17% chance on the odds checker for them to take all 3 points at the Emirates. And the draw is 24%. I am going to go with Arsenal 2, Atletico Madrid 2. Up next, we have got Newcastle versus Benfica. Played 2, won 1, lost 1 for Newcastle United. And putting that into context, their loss came at home against a very, very good Barcelona side. They responded brilliantly in match week 2, convincingly beating Union SG over in Belgium. Whereas for Benfica, it's played 2, lost 2, losing to Chelsea last time out. They have a very, very familiar face in charge for Benfica these days. Jose Mourinho, known as Little Magpie, such as his fondness for Bobby Robson, a man he worked with in both Spain and Portugal. He also seems to love and have a little soft spot for Newcastle. He won't be looking to do any favours in match week 3 as he looks to kickstart Benfica's Champions League campaign. If Newcastle want to progress, if Newcastle want to challenge that top 8 this year, then these are the games they simply must win. They've got some tricky ones coming up on the road, and Eddie Howe's men, off the back of the disappointment against Brighton at the weekend, will be looking to capitalise and take all 3 points at St James's Park. If you fancy Newcastle to win, 59% chance, 22% for the draw, and if Jose's returning to England to cause an upset, there's an 18% chance for Benfica to take all 3 points at St James's Park. I am going with Newcastle 2, Benfica 1. Up next, Villarreal versus Manchester City. Manchester City have drawn 1 and won 1, whereas Villarreal have taken only 1 point from 2 games thus far in the Champions League. City, are they heavily reliant on Erling Haaland? You'd fancy him to score in this fixture in Spain. Can City make it rain goals in Spain? A 55% chance for Pep Guardiola's side to win in Spain on Tuesday night. 23% for the draw and 21% if you fancy Villarreal to take all 3 points. Man City dropped points late on against Monaco in match week 2. Eric Dyer scoring a very, very late penalty there. They'll be looking to get back to winning ways. In regards to the head-to-head, look, City have won both of their last 2. 3-0 in Spain the last time they were there, and 2-1 at Manchester City. For me, unless Erling Haaland doesn't start, there is only going to be one winner, and I am going with Villarreal 1, Manchester City 3. Up next, Chelsea versus Ajax. Chelsea beat Jose Mourinho's Benfica in match week 2. They were thumped on the opening week in Germany by Bayern Munich. But since then, Enzo Maresca's Chelsea have started to look quite good, more settled, better going forward, and still getting players sent off. Malo Gusto, the latest Chelsea player to see a red card in the Premier League on Saturday. Ajax, on the other hand, they are not the same Dutch side that in recent years reached the Champions League semi-final. They are not the same Dutch side from the days of Johan Cruyff. They've lost both of their opening games in the Champions League so far, sitting 35 in the table, whereas Chelsea are currently 18th. They'll be looking to climb the ladder as fast as possible and push towards those top 8 places. 3 points only for Chelsea so far. They'll be targeting this as another 3 points, and they are strong favourites to win at Stamford Bridge on Wednesday. 76% chance for Chelsea to win. Only a 9% chance if you fancy Ajax to take all 3 points. The draw is 15%. And look, as long as Chelsea don't go down to 10 men, that I am convinced that they will win this game comfortably. The head-to-heads, the last time these two met at Stamford Bridge, it finished Chelsea 4, Ajax 4, an absolute goal fest. I don't see that this time. And the last time Chelsea played in Amsterdam, it finished Chelsea 1, Ajax 0. I am going for Chelsea 2, Ajax 0. Up next, Eintracht Frankfurt versus Liverpool. Both teams have won one and lost one in the Champions League so far. Liverpool losing to Galatasaray before a win against Atletico Madrid in match week 2 in the Champions League. However, things are not going to plan for Arne Slot and his new Liverpool side. They are without a win in the last 4 in all competitions, losing on Sunday to Manchester United in the Premier League thanks to that Harry Maguire bullet header. And look, Arne Slot will be looking to get at least something on the road against Eintracht Frankfurt in this week's Champions League round. It sees Hugo Ekitike return against his former club. And how often does a player score on a return to a former club? Liverpool still heavy favourites, 59% chance for Liverpool to win this one, 21% for the draw, and 20% if you fancy Eintracht Frankfurt. Many Liverpool fans saying this is not a crisis and merely a blip. And I ask the question to those Liverpool fans, if you lose to Eintracht Frankfurt, is it then a crisis? Or is it still a blip and it's all about the Brentford result? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. Liverpool sits 17th in the Champions League so far. As I said, 3 points for them. Eintracht Frankfurt 15th, 3 points for them. Both teams will have ambitions of making the next round of the Champions League. Liverpool will want to finish in the top 8. They were in that last season before that cruel draw against PSG, who went on to win the Champions League. I am going for Eintracht Frankfurt 1, Liverpool 1. Up next, Monaco versus Spurs. Tottenham's Champions League campaign hasn't got off to the worst start. Thomas Frank might be a little disappointed with the fact that they dropped points against last season's opposition in the semi-finals, Bodo Glimt, in match week 2, drawing 2-2 there. Spurs were 2-0 down in that fixture. For Monaco, they drew last time out against Manchester City, the late Eric Dyer penalty, rescuing it for the French side there. Spurs sit 9th in the Champions League so far on 4 points, whereas Monaco have just that single point from that draw, sitting 30th in the league. The last time these two teams met in France, Monaco ran out 2-1 winners. Could that be the same result this time round in the Champions League? If you fancy Monaco to win, there's a 33% chance, 41% if you fancy Tottenham to win, and the draw is 26%. It's probably fair to say at the moment, from a Thomas Frank perspective, that Tottenham are better on the road in all competitions than they are at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. They lost at the weekend to Aston Villa thanks to 2 wonder goals there. And it'll be interesting to see how they play in the Champions League in France. They'll be targeting 3 points and minimum a draw. But Monaco, for me, could be one of the dark horses in the early stages of the Champions League. Do I think they'll make the top 8? No, but they proved in match week 2 that they can mix it with the big boys. I am going with Monaco 2, Tottenham 1. That takes me on to the remainders of the fixtures that you can see on screen there. And let's run through them. Barcelona 4, Olympiakos 0. It's going to be another nightmare week for Marinakis, the owner of Olympiakos. I can see nothing but a comfortable Barcelona win at home. Kairat Almaty 2, Pafos 2 is what I've gone for there. Almaty at home, I think, will be very different from the side that plays away. Bayer Leverkusen to lose to PSG 3-0. Last season's champions, I think, will have too much for this German side. Copenhagen 1, Borussia Dortmund 2. They lost to Bayern Munich at the weekend. Napoli to have too much for the Dutch side, PSV, even though this fixture's away from home. I'm going for Antonio Conte's side to win 2-0 there. And Union SG, who lost last time at home to Newcastle, to be beaten comfortably by the Italian side, Inter Milan. On Wednesday, Athletic Club 2, Qarabağ 2. Now, I tossed up with the idea of Qarabağ making it 3 from 3. However, I just fancy Athletic Club to get a draw at home. Galatasaray and Victor Osimhen, I think, will have too much for Bodo Glimt. 3-1 there. Atalanta 2, Slavia Prague 0. The Italians are very, very strong at home. Bayern Munich, Vincent Kompany and Harry Kane will absolutely thump Club Brugge at the Allianz 4-0. There's a big tie at Real Madrid. Real Madrid versus Juventus. I've gone for Madrid to win 2-1. They scored late to go back to the top of La Liga at the weekend. And Sporting 2, Marseille 2. Now, I thought De Zerbi's team may win this one, but Sporting are having a good start to life in the Portuguese league this year, so I'm going with a 2-2 draw there. Guys, let me know your thoughts down in the comments. Make sure you drop a like on this video if you haven't done so already. And if you haven't subscribed, make sure you hit the subscribe button and the notification bell. Good luck to all the teams in match week 3. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.